The purpose of this video is not to spread panic, but to help non-technical people understand the problem that just occurred with VAPI and teach them how to fix it. Now, many people woke up this morning to their VAPI assistants not working properly. VAPI switched their knowledge base from service providers, making many of their assistants lose access to the knowledge bases that their users had uploaded. Now, we cannot manage the knowledge base documents from the dashboard anymore, but we have to use API calls in order to connect them. In other words, we're left with a non-functional feature, which is this drop down here. You may be familiar with it. It doesn't work for whatever reason. They kept it in the dashboard. They say they're working on a new version 2 of the dashboard, to make it work again. Now it doesn't make sense that they just left it here. I think the rollout, the transition was not great. They certainly dropped the ball. And having this in a production environment leaves many people in confusion. But to be fair, I want to make this fair. They did announce this change, but I think they could have been more communicative and implemented measures to prevent our assistants from losing access to the knowledge bases. Now, that's the problem. I hope I put you in context. Now, I want to talk about the solution, which is the main point of this video. We will have to run API calls to provide access to our assistants, between our assistants and the knowledge bases, make them communicate again. Now, if you don't know how to do that, no worries. I'll show you the easiest way you can do it and try to keep it as simple as possible. If you have never used an API or don't even know what it is, this video is for you. We'll use a website called Postman, and I will guide you through it step by step. There are some technical steps that we'll take, but just bear with me. I'll make it as simple as possible and just try to tell you, copy this here, paste it there, and you're good to go. Now, if you're familiar with APIs, then just follow these steps. Do it on Postman, do it on Terminal, doesn't matter. I'm including the endpoints that we're using in the description of this video. There are some things you have to change because after this change, now the knowledge base, the API documents are outdated. So, but I'll walk you through everything, no worries. So the very first thing is to just back your assistants. This is something you should be doing anyways, but at least back up the prompts, back up the first message, the system prompt, all of the settings that you have, the analysis section as well. There are some prompts in that section too. Take screenshots, copy the text, save it anywhere that is safe and not in VAPI. What I have done is that I just duplicated an existing assistant, just for the sake of this video and to use as an example. So the very first thing you should do is generate an API key. We'll go to the section here in the settings. I've already created mine, which is here called Postman, but I'll delete it just so you can see it again. We'll add key, call it Postman, allow origins, leave that blank, and then just select all agents if you want. Because this is what's going to give us access to the agents for which we want to update the knowledge base. If you're not going to select all, then I probably don't need to explain this to you. You probably know the settings. But if you don't, just click select all. It's going to make it easier. Now that you have done that, hit create private token. It'll be here. You can look at it if you click this I, or you can copy it. I'm gonna try to keep it private from the video, but if I display it by accident, no worries. I'm gonna delete it before I load it anyways. Well, yeah, I just think I'm just gonna show it. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna delete it. But I'm gonna make it easier. I'm gonna create notes here so we can keep track of the files or the information that we're copying. First, I pasted the API key there, and then what we'll need to do is first know which agent we're going to update it. Now, for the example of this video, I'm only going to use one, but you can just replicate this process as many times as you need with as many documents as you need. So we have our files up here. We'll need the ID of the file that we want to use for our assistant. So just copy this ID, save it. Keep it in my notes here. File ID. Boom. And you can do that with more files um, if you need to add more than one file to an assistant. You can just copy different IDs um, like that. Yep. So the very first thing we'll do is you must create an account in Postman. Just go Postman on Google, postman.com. Go here, create an account. Once you're logged in, come into this space. Um, this is a login page. The very first one you'll see, hit new request, and then it'll take you to the section. And I'm gonna guide you step by step. I've done it myself already to update my assistants. But here's it. Um, all the all the information we're copying and pasting is in the description of this video, so you can get it from there, no problem. Um, what we'll do first is, sorry, I'm just getting a bit ahead here. Go to the API docs, find knowledge bases here on the left sidebar, and click the one that says post, create knowledge base. You'll copy this link, you go back in Postman and enter it here. Just paste it here. So I'm just getting ready to upload this video and I caught something that I didn't include, so I just wanted to put it in post. It is a header section. So one thing you have to do is come here where it says header and make sure to include this content type application slash JSON. I'm gonna paste this in the description of the video as well so you can see it, but all of the API calls, they have to include this. So what you do is you come here, copy this, go headers, and the key section is where you paste content dash type, value as application slash JSON. It's just that, add it, all good, in this section. And then you change this drop down option to post. And once you've done that, copy this section here, copy this part. Now pay attention because we're going to edit some settings. This is probably the most technical step that we will face, but so I'll slow down a little bit so that you can understand what I'm doing. First, we just need to delete all this information up here. We don't need it. And yeah, just bring this up here, delete it. Don't worry about indentation, don't worry about none of that. It doesn't matter, but make sure to delete this last apostrophe here, otherwise you're gonna come across problems. And delete these two quotation marks. Now, even if you're technical, you will not know this because this is what I was saying earlier about the documentation being outdated. They require this parameter to be in the API call. I don't know why, but they require it. You can't just pass the quotation marks. You have to delete them. Now, technical stuff for the people who know. If you don't know it, no worries. Just make sure to delete this. And then in the file IDs, I've already entered it, but what you can do is just copy the file ID that we had gotten earlier from VAPI, which is exactly this one I've already copied here. Now, if you only have one, that's all you do. If you have more than one, I'll show you how to do it. All you have to do is add a comma, hit enter, and then quotation marks. If you type a double, like the quotation marks, it'll generate two sets. So here, just paste it again. You only need to add the comma on all the IDs except the last one, all the file IDs except the last one. So because we're only adding two, we do that, but if we were to add more, we would just like keep adding commas until the last one, except the last one, right? So you can do that. You can add as many IDs as you want. There's probably a limit, but if you're watching this video, then you are probably not going to hit that limit. Now, for the example of this video, I'm going to keep it simple, right? So let's go back. We don't need none of that. Now, here's what we have to do. Come down here, add some text between these quotation marks right next to name, line 16. It says right here. And just add the name of your new knowledge base. So this is what I'm going to do. New knowledge base, boom, this is going to be the name, and it's going to help us identify it in the system for either future use in a year, 6 months from now, but certainly we'll need it immediately. Once you've done that, you hit send, and you're going to get a response back. Oop, my bad. Okay, so it just turns out that I was missing a curly brace here. No worries. The one in the description is fine. So I'm just gonna and make sure it's working here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. We will, yeah, post this. You can copy and paste it from the description. Just make sure that you update the file ID and that you change the name. If you've copied this from the description, you cannot mess it up, right? Name and file IDs, that's all you need. Once you've done that, then you just have to come here in the authorization section. The bearer token is what we just generated in VAPI. It's the API key. So you'll copy it and paste it here. There's no way to mess it up. Just come here back to the body. And now you hit send. Now, what we've just done is we created a new knowledge base. What we're going to do is now we need this ID. It's the very first piece of the output. And we'll see here. We'll just save it. We'll save it under this name, new knowledge base ID, paste it. Here we go. This is what we want because we'll use it in just a minute. Just 1 second. Now, once you've done that, we'll go and create a new call patch. What you do is you can get it from the description as well. You can get it from here. It's in the documents. The correct one is update assistant patch. What you're going to do is you're just going to copy this, right? You can add the ID of your assistant now. Hold up. This is a different ID from the ones that we've just gotten up until this point. We have to retrieve a new ID. I know we're working with a bunch of IDs, but trust me, it's easy, it's simple. Now, in the VAPI assistant section of your dashboard, you will copy this assistant ID and you'll come back here. You can paste it, no problem. You can paste it here. If you enter it in this part that says path parameters, it's just going to help you generate the code. Just another way to do it, doesn't matter. Either way, what you have to do is just copy this URL up here with the new updated assistant ID, which is the text in green. Also included in the description, just find it there and make sure to edit the part after the last / and this is important. So what you want to do is just make sure that you selected this information correctly. Whatever model you're using, the provider, make sure it is accurate because you don't want it to change. How you do it is just come here, provider, model, make sure to type it exactly as it is in VAPI. Otherwise, you might encounter some problems there with the API call if it's not correct. And then the knowledge base ID is where we'll copy this last ID we just generated. We'll paste it here, right? And put it between the quotation marks. That's what you do. Provider, model, knowledge base ID. Make sure that the assistant ID is after the last / You hit send, and then boom. This is how a successful response should look like. Now it means we've just updated our assistant with the correct knowledge base. Cool. Extra information if it's helpful to you, if you want to use it. Here's a big tip. If you're having problems with the API, you can troubleshoot it with Claude. You can either copy and paste this, and I'll give you an example of how it's done. For example, I will intentionally enter a wrong body. What we'll do here is we'll run an API call again. It'll give us an error. Here, model must be one of the following. Here. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to go in Claude, and we're going to tell it, hey, help me understand this API error. You paste it here. This is my API call. Come back to Postman, click this button right here, which is the code snippet, copy it, and you come back to Claude and you hit paste, hit enter, and just wait for it to generate a response. See, now here's the thing. It's telling us why we're getting an error, and it just fixed our prompt. Sorry, not our prompt, but the body of our API call. So we can come back here. We literally just copied it from Claude. We hit paste, and then we hit send, and now we're gonna get a successful API response, right? There we go, successful. You see here, this is the result of the request. It's gonna give us an okay. If we come back here, now you will notice that our provider was Anthropic, but because we just did that, it changed it to OpenAI. Now it doesn't matter. So if you have even like another provider, if you have a different model, and all you want to do is just copy and paste it, cool, do that. And then once you've done that, you can come back in here, change it to how it was again. We had Anthropic, we had Sonnet, so we'll just do that, right? Again, change it to how it was, and then we save it, and we hit publish, and then it's good to go. So just as a learning lesson, always back up your documents and your agents and their prompts and their knowledge bases, because you should have really somewhere that says which agent is connected to which documents. Otherwise, there's people that have like 50 agents, 100 agents, and if they didn't document that, if they don't know what documents their knowledge base was connected to, then it's going to be a problem. And here, actually, now you'll see that we just connected to the new knowledge base. These blanks here are some of the other knowledge bases I had created, but they're blank because I didn't add a name. So now you can see it. Now you can select it from the dropdown, but you have to do that. I really hope VAPI team is working on a fix to roll it out as soon as possible. I'm sure they will fix this in just very, very shortly. But for those who are struggling with it now, this is a helpful video. Cool. Thanks.